This is an Eye on Annapolis bonus podcast.
Well, I'm so glad to be back here, but it's awfully quiet in this room. We're sitting in the Cabaret room at the Classic Theater of Maryland, right here on West Street, right at the corner of West and Admiral. You might have seen their new marquee twinkling through the things. I know the last time we talked with Sally Boyette, it was, I don't know whether you were arguing, battling, wrestling with the city to get a marquee.
Imploring.
Begging, pleading. Well, I am glad to see that the marquee is up. It looks wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.
It looks wonderful. Well, as I said, we are revisiting this. And originally, the Classic Theater of Maryland, you guys, way back when, were called the Annapolis Shakespeare Company.
Yes, we were.
And that was like, what, 4 or 5 years ago?
Yes, we rebranded about 4 years ago to Classic Theater of Maryland. And we just felt that the new name reflected the scope of work that we do. We wanted people to understand that we weren't just doing Shakespeare. We were doing all the classics, including classic musicals, cabarets.
So right. I mean, you've got traditional plays. You have Shakespeare. You've got this wonderful cabaret, which has monthly shows. And it really does speak to the name. And theater, it's Classic Theater Maryland. That's all spelled out. And theater is spelled I guess the British way with the R-E.
Yes.
Opening up at the end of February, you've got a play that interests me. That's Arthur Miller's The Crucible.
Yes.
The Crucible is opening up here at the Classic Theater of Maryland on, I think, it's the 27th?
The 27th of February, and it runs through the 16th of March. So we have 3 weeks of performances, and we have 6 shows a week, Thursday night, Friday night, 2 Saturday, and 2 Sunday. So we're really excited about it.
And this is in your main theater, right?
Yes.
Okay, in the main theater, for those that have not been here, first of all, shame on you. But second of all, the main theater is wonderful. There's no cruddy seats anywhere. It's very, when I say it's tight, but I don't say that in a mean way or a bad way.
No, it's comfortable, but no seat is more than 20 feet from the stage. And so you're seeing great theater and, classic plays and musicals that have stood the test of time in an intimate setting. And that's quite unique in the area because most of the Shakespeare companies nearby in the D.C., Baltimore area, the theaters are very large. And so you could find yourself in a seat that is so far back.
Right. Again, this is not a Maryland Hall type of a theater.
Correct.
Where you've got 20 or 30 or 40 rows and the stage up at the front. I mean, it's very close to theater in the round, but not quite. But it's
theater in the 3/4.
Theater in the 270.
So
I guess.
It's a 3/4 thrust black box.
Just a great experience. You've got a full bar right outside of the theater, so during the intermissions and pre and post, you can have a cocktail, and you've got a partnership with a couple of restaurants too, so you can even order food.
Yes, you can. And the dinner is those partnerships are for the Cabaret series. So you can order your food for the Cabaret, and we do all the great music from each decade, starting with the 1920s. We go all the way through the 1980s.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. That's what you were doing when we last talked. Is that still doing? I mean, you've got a bottomless pit of music.
Oh, yeah.
But so it's every decade?
Every decade. And it's in collaboration with the Unified Jazz Ensemble.
Oh, they're
our
fantastic.
House band. And we're up to the 1970s now. And that's why you see a disco ball up there.
Well, you always have to have a disco ball. Yeah. Disco balls are never outdated.
But specifically for the 1970s, so lots of sequins, and we're really enjoying the Cabaret series. We're bringing in new artists all the time, and just really filling our roster of vocalists, and it's fabulous. The music is great. Like you said, we have an endless supply of great tunes.
Sure.
And we're doing the very, very best of the decades.
Sure.
But we're encouraging folks who come to the 1970s Cabaret to dress up. Dress in your 70s best.
Oh, man. I had to dig deep into the archives there with the bell-bottom jeans. And
that's March 10th and 11th for the 1970s Cabaret.
There you go. Well, tell me more about the Crucible. I mean, we got a little bit off track there, but that's opening on the 27th. You said to go through the 16th. Okay, so you can get your Arthur Miller fix in before you get your St. Patrick's fix in.
That's right.
Your theater seats what, about?
It seats about 125 when all the seats are in, depending on the scenery. Sure. Right now we're at about 113. But yeah, it's a very comfortable theater. The show is very engaging. No matter where you sit in the theater, you're going to have a great experience. It's just I think it's the greatest play written in the modern era by the greatest playwright written in the modern era. So that's my opinion.
There you go.
I've been waiting to produce and direct it for about 10 years.
You're obviously in the last days of getting the act together for the Crucible.
Yes, we're in the last days of preparation, getting the show ready, and the costumes and the lights and the sound design and everything's going together, and we're making the final tweaks on the performances, and it's a fantastic story. I think we're all just so invested in it, and it is such an epic mystery. It's a mystery of conscience, and you'll see when you see it, and I hope that everybody listening will come to see it and come to see what we do with it. I think it's an exciting story to tell with a tight ensemble of actors, and especially when you're no more than 20 feet away, you're in it. And each one of these characters has such a very specific, hold or on the town. And we're just seeing this entire town fall victim to one lie that's being believed as truth. And we see what happens to
Strange.
one little town when a lie is allowed to fester, and everyone gets on this bandwagon. And even when characters start to realize that this is actually morally wrong, they, most of the characters are making these choices. Should I stop it? Should I, what should I do? Right. And what's really interesting is the play leaves it to the audience. This is why the writing is so good, because the playwright leaves it to the audience to make the choice. What would they do? What would they do if they were in a position? Would they turn their neighbor in to save themselves? Right. But really, people in this world, they weren't. Yes, some were doing it from spite, but it starts because they're trying to save their own skin. Would you do that? Would you do that to save your life? Would you do that to save the life of your family? And then, if you realize that, if you believe something that you came to believe was now morally wrong, would you put the brakes on? Would you be the one person to stand up, raise your hand, and say, "This is wrong. This is wrong"? And so it's such an interesting exercise watching this. It's set in 17th century Salem, Massachusetts, but it's relevant. It's always relevant to today, to yesterday, to 50 years ago, 70 years ago, and 30 years from now. It will continue to resonate with modern people because these are the same questions that humans have been asking themselves for. And
it doesn't matter whether it's the witch trials in Salem or whatever else comes down the line, down the road.
Yes.
An exciting production.
Thank you. Yeah, it's very compelling, and I think it is a mystery, and that's something we really discovered as an ensemble, the level of mystery in the writing, because characters are they're putting pieces together as we go through scenes, but the audience is also left to discover as they're listening and watching. They're left to put some of the pieces together. And I think that's just what makes great theater, is the audience engagement. They're part of the process. They're part of the discovery in each moment.
Again, the Crucible is opening on the 27th of February, running through the 16th of March. You said, 6 productions?
6 performances a week. And so that's a total of, we're very excited, and we hope you'll come out and see it, and come early, come to the bar. The bar opens an hour before. We have a lovely cabaret room with a bar, full bar, and you can even take your drinks in souvenir cups, but you can enjoy them in glassware in the bar with some nice music.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah, it's a really nice ambiance, we're classing up the place.
Tickets are available at classictheatermaryland.org. I do recommend you go get them. And then if you've not been, get a taste of it. And if you have been, pick up a season package when they roll around again, because 7 productions a year, you've got monthly cabarets, perfect entertainment, you've got plenty of free parking, you're very convenient, you're not in the heart of downtown fighting with the garage apps and everything else. It's a great evening out.
Yes, it's very easy. And we still have subscriptions available. We're doing small packages for the spring and for the summer. So you can just get a sampler.
Get a partial.
Yeah, you can get a sampler where you can see some cabarets, see some main stage shows, and coming up next is Anything Goes. That's a fabulous tap dancing, it's a hoot. It's Cole Porter. That's all I need to say. The music by Cole Porter, and it's a funny script and a lot of just amazing dancing.
And when does that roll around?
That rolls around the May the 1st through the 18th. So that's coming up. And then Much to Do About Nothing is our summer Shakespeare, and that opens on the 10th of July.
Okay.
Runs through the rest of the month of July. And I'm setting that in the 1950s on a Caribbean island with a lot of doo-wop music. And
Interesting.
yeah, it's going to be just a lot of fun, a lot of dancing, singing. So Shakespeare meets musical. So just lots of, back to the signature. We're just putting as much music and dance as we can, just I think to make it entertaining, to reach people on all different levels. Maybe not everybody loves Shakespeare, but if you go to see Shakespeare and you don't even realize it was Shakespeare because it was so well done and so fun and so entertaining, and you love the music and you love the costumes, we've got something for everybody here.
But when you talk about your producing and directing, though, too, and then one thing I do want to mention, you guys are a professional theater, right?
Yes.
I mean, this is not community theater. This isn't Mary down the street that's a good actress. You bring professional actors in. And
Yes.
I remember a couple of years ago, you brought in Laura Osnes to do a big Broadway, off-Broadway, off-Broadway show down in Annapolis at Maryland Hall.
Well, we did a review. We did a fundraiser, and it was a review with my friend Laura Osnes. And Laura starred in 10 or 11 Broadway shows in her career. Now she's living in Nashville doing a lot of music and recording. But that was great. And we've got a lot of Broadway performers who we bring in from time to time for our Cabaret series. And we have Ian Knauer, who's coming down. He was in Anastasia on Broadway. He's coming down to do our Cabaret when we get to the May Cabaret.
And that's one thing. I mean, there is a difference between community theater and professional theater, too. I mean, I think...
Well, there is. The performers that we are engaging, and it's not just the performers, it's the musicians, the technicians, the designers, all of us, we have spent our entire career training for this, this career, and also this is all we do. So we don't have day jobs somewhere else. We do this full time. And we're all in the union, or we're in the union, so it's something that we've spent our entire lives and dedicated our entire lives to this craft. And it's an ongoing craft. When you come to see a professional production where all the performers are working artists who work in New York, they work in LA, they work maybe in DC or Baltimore, but they also come and work at Classic Theater of Maryland. And you know that you're getting a fantastic world-class theater experience. Because everybody here brings their A game, and everybody here has the experience, the training, and the talent to bring those individual pieces together, and then the sum total of all those parts is going to be world-class theater.
Comes down together, sure.
Yeah.
And you told me that before we started recording, you were telling me how the reputation of the Classic Theater of Maryland sort of extends a little bit beyond Annapolis and Maryland and the East Coast.
Texas Tech, yeah, Texas Tech had heard about us from their theater department. So that's exciting. It's exciting that the work that we're doing is people are noticing the work and they appreciate the work, and we're getting applications from young artists coming out of training programs that want to come work with us.
That's cool. And I forgot that you guys have the training programs, and you've got the school, if you will.
Well, we do. We have apprenticeships and also summer internships, and we've offered a lot of those to university students, and we've had students from Catholic University, from Anne Arundel Community College, and from UMBC come down, and then we've also had internships with Baltimore School for the Arts and our local Anne Arundel County Public Schools, the Magnet program, which is now called Apex, and we have a partnership with that program every year for their graduating, their rising seniors can come and do internships at our theater and have a professional theater experience and be mentored by professional artists, designers, technicians.
That's a great opportunity, but I'm so impressed with the level of arts that we have here in Annapolis and in the general area. And, if you aren't partaking of it, you're fools. Sounds a little Shakespeare-ish. Dost thou partake in the arts, then thou art fools. It doesn't matter what, we've got the Classic Theater of Maryland, we've got the ballet, we've got the opera, we've got,
and the symphony.
It goes on and on and on. And those are just the professional companies. And there's plenty of, different community theaters. You look at what, just what Allison's doing with Art Farm, and you've got all these other sort of I don't even want to say art adjacent, but different types of art that are around here. I mean, we're way out of our league as far as art goes, I think, as far as a town of 40,000 people to have the culture that we have here.
Yes, and we are the capital, though, so you would expect that people would do that. I mean, I think it's exciting that people are interested in the arts. They're interested in pursuing the arts. It's a lifelong pursuit, and those of us who have dedicated our lives to be professional artists, we appreciate being able to mentor new artists coming up and students of art. And it's very exciting. And the collaborations that we've been able to do are also very exciting.
You're in the middle of your season right now, right?
Yes.
I mean, it starts, September, if I'm remembering?
Season starts in September, and it runs all the way through the August of the next year. And that's a typical season for us. So we typically do 7 main stage productions and 12 cabarets. And then there are other assorted events happening throughout the season for one special occasion or another.
Well, I was looking at your season for this year, and you sort of, do you do that all year? But you were sort of bookended by Shakespeare. You opened with Macbeth, and you're closing with Much Ado About Nothing.
Yes, yeah.
Do you always bookend with Shakespeare?
That's been my practice for the past couple of years. Okay. I think, especially since we started venturing into doing large, full-scale musicals.
Right.
Lots of dancing and, just lots of amazing costumes and costume changes. And this past year we produced Crazy for You, which is a show very close to my heart because I did that show, the Broadway first national tour and the first international company and the European company. So I did that show altogether for 7 years professionally. And so I love it, and was able to finally direct, produce, and also choreograph that production. So I did some original choreography. And but we also did Gypsy, and that was a lot of fun. Just a really great musical.
Just a classic.
Just a classic. And we're trying to do work that people know, they've heard of, and we want to give it fresh life, bring it back on stage. And
can you, as a professional, if you were to put 2 plays side by side, would you be able to tell which director or director, do they have like I mean, if somebody knew real well
style.
A signature type thing. I know with photography sometimes. I mean, I've got some people that will shoot like a sports game for me, and I can look and I could put out real pictures if they had them and say, oh, that was Glenn, that was Kevin, that was Bob, that was, and I'd write 99% of the time because they all have a different angle, a different eye, and just a different style.
I think it's true. I direct a lot of plays here. So does Donald Hicken, who is our resident director. And he's directed about 19 or 20 productions at Everyman Theater in Baltimore. And he was head of Baltimore School for the Arts Theater Department for 37 years. Donald and I have very different approaches, but when we collaborate, we have a great collaboration when we're co-directing, but we do have our own signature styles. And I think people can tell. Yeah, we do have
so I can come out and go, that's the Sally show, and that's... if I knew well enough.
I tend to put moving transitions in my shows where you never see technicians on stage and actors are seamlessly moving things from one scene to the next, and it's telling a story, and there's a creative, choreographed shape of movement throughout the entire thing. There's a look, there's a feel, there's a pace, and that's what I do. So, and it's very, it's very stylized, it's very choreographed, and I think you can say that's my signature from show to show, because it doesn't really matter what kind of show I'm doing. I'm making sure that the audience never goes out of the show while the scene is shifted. They're always kept.
They're there,
and
it's like, wow, okay, whether, and obviously you use music and dance and stuff like that to do it with there as
Definitely.
Well. But, and you did 2 productions we're a little bit past date, but over Christmas too, over the holidays too.
We did
a Christmas Carol as well as a White Christmas.
Yes. And Christmas Carol is our original adaptation. Donald Hicken and I adapted it for the stage, and we've been doing that production for 8 years. So this past Christmas was our 8th consecutive year.
How long have you been in this location?
We've been here since 2017.
Okay.
So 8 years.
Okay. There you
8 Christmases, I should say. Yes.
As John sits here and counts on his finger,
yeah.
to try to figure that out.
Sometimes you have to, because the time flies when you're just doing so much theater. And we love it because what's unique about Classic Theater of Maryland is we have a resident company of professional artists, designers, technicians who work here. And it is an artistic home for those people. So you'll see them from show to show to show. You'll see their names on the playbills for design and production credits. But it is an artistic home. You know, our stage manager's been with us for so long that when I'm talking about a show that was before her time, I just assume that she was here for that show. And she says, no, that was before me. But it's wonderful as an artist to be in a position where you have an artistic home. You can come to a place where you know that no matter what show you're in, it's going to be your best work. We're all working towards making it everyone's best work. And it's theater that we can all be proud of, and we're all working together, and we're continuing our careers.
Well, I will say as a audience member and you do a great job of, again, with the limited space, being able to convey with your set design and lighting and everything else, the story that goes on. I mean, you're never like, huh, what's that whole suitcase thing about? Or, you know, you do know that, and you guys do. And it amazes me that somebody can sit there and say, okay, well, this is the story, and I got this little tiny stage, and I need to build it.
Yeah, that's the challenge. That's the challenge, is to tell the story well. And we tell it with voice. We have a voice and dialect coach who works with our actors. Even professional actors need voice and dialect coaching. Even professional actors need a choreographer to really encourage and sometimes push them to do their best job, to, you know, bring their A game. We're going to do a triple time step. We're going to do the triple time step with a wing. You know, we're going to reach for that moment. We're going to raise the bar. And every rehearsal and every performance, we're really going for a level of excellence that was higher than the day before and higher than the show we did 2 months ago. So
fantastic.
We're just continuing to raise the bar. That's how we all feel. And so as an ensemble, that's part of the magic of all of us working together. Plus, we have shorthand. We know when we work with certain actors who are our company members, we know how best to cast them, but also we give them challenges. They're not playing the same types of roles over and over and over. We give them challenges. We want to keep it fresh.
Don't want them to be a Gilligan.
No, yeah. You know, we want it to be exciting and always, I think it's always exciting if it's a challenge. There's something to work towards. There's something new.
Every summer you do the Shakespeare Under the Stars and Pray That It Doesn't Rain.
Right.
Over at Reynolds Tavern on their fabulous back patio. Is that coming back this year?
That is coming back. We are doing The Imaginary Invalid by Moliere. And that's our outdoor production. So we've been doing comedy in the courtyard at Reynolds Tavern since 2013. And it's just been such a great partnership.
Anything new and exciting happening here? I mean, I know that we've discussed all the things that you've got here, and you've got the summer thing going. I know way back when you used to do outdoor at Gresham Estate, which the county I know is trying to work through whatever they're going to do with that, and that may come back or not. But anything new and exciting here?
Well, yes. I'm taking over as proprietor of Reynolds Tavern.
Whoa! Proprietor or proprietress?
Proprietress of Reynolds Tavern, yes. So I will be, I'm very excited about it. I've just loved that place since I first came to town, and we've been partnering with Reynolds to present our summer outdoor comedy in the courtyard there since 2013. And the current proprietors, Wes and Marilyn, are retiring, and so the opportunity just came available for someone. They were looking for someone to carry on and keep the tavern going exactly as it is, as a historic tavern serving traditional afternoon tea with the 1747 pub downstairs.
Oh God, I love the fireplace. I love that pub.
And the amazing outdoor courtyard with all the entertainment over the summers. And then the amazing dinner service. And there's also a 3-suite bed and breakfast.
Right.
So it's a fantastic little operation. I'm very excited about it. And so it's a new family business. My family is helping in this entire venture.
Partnered with it.
So
cool.
So it's.
When I know the building itself was recently sold, and they've got some great caretakers with Diane Ray. And
yes, and you know, she is such a historian and so dedicated to the history of Annapolis. And
she was Anne Green.
Yes, that's right. and so we've just had some fantastic conversations just about historical things we can bring back to the tavern and really focusing on the history of Annapolis, the history of Maryland. And we're excited that we're going to be doing a big 250th anniversary with collaborating with Classic Theater Maryland at the tavern next summer.
How fun. How fun. That means, I guess, you're sort of bringing a little bit of the West Street end to downtown Annapolis.
Yes, you will see more actors from Classic Theater Maryland in colonial costumes down at the tavern.
London's got their West End, we've got West Street. But I mean, I imagine it's got to be really good for the theater now at that point you've got the ability to, a little bit more flexibility when you're managing the building.
Yes, I mean, it's funny because, you would think that as well, but we had so much flexibility. West of Maryland were just so great about bringing us there every year. And I'm going to do it pretty much the same way that they, what they offered to us for Classic Theater. It's been such a great partnership. So, and the actors are so excited about it. It'll just give them an opportunity to do more. And, you'll just be able to see more of them downtown.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun. So you're going to be seeing more of the Classic Theater of Maryland right down there at the top of Main Street and right on Church Circle.
Right on Church Circle in Franklin.
And that's fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you. I like a good challenge, and I've been assured that I have bit off a big one. But I'm excited about it because it's something I've always wanted to do, and we're getting to do it. And it's just, history is one of my many loves and theater. And so what better way than to combine that with a 1747 Maryland's oldest tavern.
Yeah. I think one time when we talked, people said you took a really big bite when you started the Classic Theater of Maryland too, and look where we are today.
Sure. Yeah. Well, you dream big. And Reynolds Tavern is already up and running. It's already a successful business. I'm picking up the torch from a couple who have done a wonderful job. Right. They've been there for 23 years, and it's a fantastic operation. The entire staff, the kitchen staff, the chef, everybody's staying, all the managers. So
awesome.
It's just such a wonderful, lovely team of people, and they're so passionate about the work that they do there, and we're going to take it to the next level.
Well, I wish you all the luck. But for those that are listening, and I want to thank you, certainly, Sally, for inviting me in again. But you are a nonprofit. So
yes,
there are plenty of ways to support the Classic Theater of Maryland. You can volunteer.
Yes, you can volunteer as an usher. We're always looking for new board members.
Okay.
And then, of course, you can support us with your generous contributions. No donation is too small and no donation is too large.
But the best way, I think, and the easiest way to support you is to go to classictheatermaryland.com and buy a ticket to a show, buy a ticket to a cabaret. You will be hooked. You'll hey, we need to get one of those little mini plans, or maybe we need to get a full season when that rolls around in September. And, I will say, and spread the word. Let people know, because not that you're a gem, not that you're a super hidden gem, but more people need to know about this. And so we live in such a great world in Annapolis with the exposure to the arts, and whether it can be performing arts, it can be, vocal arts, and it can be, there's even paintings and, photography. You look at, Jay Fleming, who does such wonderful work, and you look at the galleries that we have and the professional theater companies, and we're definitely out of our league, I think. I know we're the capital city, but for a small city, I know hundreds of cities across the country that would kill for the art scene that we have. And you guys are a huge part of it. So that's the way to support the Classic Theater of Maryland. Buy your tickets, spread the word, and bring your neighbors.
Yes.
It's always a fun night.
Bring your...
And the drinks are poured very well, I will say.
They are. We do give a generous pour. And we have signature cocktails. It's a lot of fun.
Fantastic. Well, Sally, thank you so much again for bringing Classic Theater to Maryland. And I'm excited to see what happens with Reynolds Tavern. That's exciting news. And again, classictheatermaryland.org.
This has been a bonus podcast from Eye on Annapolis. Please visit us at eyeonannapolis.net. Follow us on Facebook at All Annapolis and on Twitter at Eye on Annapolis. And if you haven't subscribed to the Daily News Brief podcast, go for it. And all of your local news will be delivered to your phone, tablet, or smart device by 6 a.m. every Monday through Friday.